Alright, so let's talk RPG design with me, JRT RPG, trying something new today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play through the Darkstone from Mebara from Jerseyware Gaming, which is an RPGMaker game about Cthulhu stuff set in the 1920s. And the goal is to just talk about their design choices and stuff, maybe about how the game could be better, why things that are good, things that are bad. I really dig RPGs, and so let's play some and talk about it. And yeah, so hopefully, yeah, okay, let's start it up. Monroe. So we start off with a text, an introduction to our character, I guess. It was Monroe. Private Detective Aloysius Monroe, age 32, produces a small logbook from the inside of his vest. He sits at his desk with pen and begins to write. So this is a narrator right now, but it's done in the traditional sort of RPG way. So it looks like Monroe speaking, but he's not. May the 22nd, 1924, case of Marilyn Davis, alleged theft, 1 watch, silver. Determined to be a fraud, turned over to police for criminal charges. Monroe lets out a long breath and tucks away the notebook. 1 p.m., time for a break, he decides, rising towards the door. Some tea down the street will do me good. Alright, now we have control, so that was quick. I like that. Look at this. We got some shiny shit right here. What's this? My 32 handgun by my side for years. Received the revolver. Cool. So we got a weapon. So what happens if you don't get that? You just not get the weapon. And we run. No, it's not a different animation. We just move quicker. It's interesting that we can walk through this chair. I don't mind. Okay. Can we walk through these? Yeah. It doesn't look like Webley is in, Monroe mutters. Mine for today. Received an apple. So we have everything's sort of narrated. Evan Nunn, the agency's secretary, does not look up from her writing as Monroe approaches. Okay. Boss Pendleton's office. I'm not in that much of a rush to work today. I'm not supposed to go this way. Okay, we can't go that way. That's fine. So can we interact with any of this stuff? Nope. I guess maybe we can only interact with shiny things. Oh, look at this. A trove of law books and technical manuals. Pendleton mostly uses them to tell me when I'm out of line. Monroe smirks. Oh, I guess we don't play by the rules. So far this is an alright intro, like beginning of an RPG. Can we read these bookcases? No. What's up, Miss Nunn? Hello, detective. Something you need? Any messages? Nothing since you last picked up your messages. Ava replies absently. So forgetful. Have you seen Webley? He was investigating the Richards kidnapping, or so he said, bolting through the door. That was some time ago. Ava looks to the floor briefly, then returns to her work. Some time ago. Okay, what was that? We don't know how long ago that was. Was it today? Oof. Music is much louder all of a sudden. I'm just gonna turn down the sound a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more, I think. Sort of weird music. What do we got here? Books. Closed for the day. So I kind of like this style. It's not your traditional style, it's obviously these guys use totally different sprites. Wow, awfully looping music though. What the $5. So apples heal. It could use butter, but it stores a small amount of HP. So maybe these are like the same. We don't know. Potent bottle of Scotch whiskey. You hit harder with less finesse. Evoke a reaction from a subject and arouse a knocked out party member. Stores a good deal of HP at the expense of a small amount of SP due to side effects. Okay. Jerseyware Cafe. Oh, these are, I see. It's a carpet. Aloysius over here. Webley waves from his seat. Okay, Webley hasn't been gone that long because he's just chilling in the cafe. Webley, I thought you were out. I have been. Get yourself a drink and we'll talk. Okay. Who's this waitress? Yes, sir. Can I get you something? Turkish blend. A dark fusion of Middle Eastern tea leaves. Sure, I guess we're supposed to buy a drink, right? So. Have a seat, won't you? No. Okay. Looks like the entrance to the kitchen. No need to trespass here. Look at the fire. No. Okay. So that looks better. Sit down. How goes the Richardson case? Any viable leads? The professor sighs deeply. The longer I look into it, the more it looks like the parents. It's a dark situation, to be certain. Bubbly takes a long sip of his coffee. Have you spoken to Arthur? Speaking of topics worth avoiding, he's asked me if I'm in the mood to procrastinate, to pal along with you uptown to the law office of Norton Van Uther. Have we been sued? Monroe asks, without surprise. Jeez. Not this time, it seems. It's just that poor Norton was apparently murdered, and his widow is unsatisfied with the work of the Little Berlin PD. Surely the chief loves having his toes danced upon. Well, let us have our tea and be off to it. Well, it's interesting dialogue. The music is kind of annoying in this game so far, but hey, it's okay. Uptown, Little Berlin. The older part of this burg is personified by wooden row houses, many of which still house the original businesses from the town's founding. Just across the way, Monroe spotted a woman who could only be the widow Lorraine Van Uther. Miss Van Uther regards both men steadily. Gentlemen, I presume you are with Mr. Pendleton's agency? Yes, ma'am. I am Investigator Monroe, and this is my associate, Professor Webley. We are at your disposal. This way, then, into the office. She does not regard the man standing the doorway of the rowdy-sounding speakeasy operating next door. So, like most RPGs, it could use a little editing. What's this guy? Pardon me. Pardon. The bouncer regards Monroe, feigning dumbness. He does not move. Okay. So we have to go around the car. A bunch of cinder blocks. Are we supposed to go in here? Van Uther offices, I guess so. A whole bunch of chairs. Mr. Monroe, thank you very much for your time. As Mr. Pendleton no doubt informed you, my husband Norton was murdered. He was taken from us just 2 weeks past. My condolences for your loss. Ms. Van Uther bows her head slightly. Thank you, she continues. The police sent a Detective Gardner. He was thorough enough, but he paid little regard to my late husband's eccentricities, and, in my opinion, rather hastily concluded the culprit was a former client of my husband's. My husband was a defense attorney, you see, a criminal advocate. These offices once hummed with many people, many stenographers, taking diction, and the like. Now my Norton is gone, and I'm afraid I do not believe it was a former client, Mr. Monroe. Why do you doubt the detective's assessment? Oh, she sighs, looks away for a moment, then back to Monroe. It's difficult to pin down. The police are not certain the reason for which my husband was slain. The wounds suggest they took their time. Detective Gardner said, with less tact than I cared for, at least 3 men took their sweet old time with him. Nothing was stolen either. My late husband kept a private safe in his office, which was tampered with, but not opened. That is rather strange. The police thought nothing. Is my associate within? He has gone on to my late husband's office. Norton's journal is still there. Gardner read it, but he did not believe it to be of any value. Her voice trails slightly and she begins to wander. Now we can go explore. I like this track a little bit more. Pretty creepy. It's not obnoxious. Hasn't looped yet. Can we talk to her again? Miss Van Uther, can you hear me? She appears to be... I forgot to take off the quotes. She appears to be in a minor state of catatonia. I don't believe she'll hurt herself. Oh, no, I guess it was supposed to still be in quotes. I don't know. Was he thinking that? Did he say that out loud? He's like looking at this lady, and he's like, she appears to be in catatonia. Who are you talking to, Monroe? There's a little bit of a stitch as the fireplace sound started. That's cool. It's a neat effect. Yeah, I like things like that in games, you know. RPGs, when you get close to something, you can hear the sound. So that's a nice little touch right there. So far, it's been pretty standard sort of thing. This appears to be the journal Miss Van Uther mentioned. Let's see, the most recent entry, May 13th, 1924. I no longer know how long I've been awake. It is out there. It is in every glass pane's reflection, as it has been the very first time I bore witness to the gibbering, blasphemous creature. Sounds terrifying. Surely the man had lost his senses. Miss Van Uther did mention eccentricity, he continues. I have finally learned the terrible origin of this materia. I dare not copy its name. The worship grounds of these horrors, I fear it is the end of man itself I have unwittingly willed upon us. This is raving lunacy. There must be some clue as to his killer's identity, a name or location, something we can use. Here, untangle its many knots. You've the patience. It's grown tiresome enough for me. Alright, so this drawer is meant to feel fake, but Monroe thumbs around the edges of the drawer, then turns his attention to the empty shelves. Feeling around with an open palm, Monroe touches out the shape of slots and triggers, mechanisms which might be linked to the false drawer. Webley, I think there's something to this bookshelf. There's no shortage of books in this office. Might he have keyed the correct volume somehow? 5 shelves with 5 mechanisms. I shall have to keep looking. Okay. Law books, volume after volume. Case law in both English and Latin. Doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary. Monroe, I think I've made something of this journal. Steady yourself. It's a yarn. I believe I'm prepared for the worst. I cannot make out how, but Mr. Van Uther came into possession of a multi-faced gem with a heart the color of black licorice late last year. I suspect it was passed to him by a client, but this information is not recorded. Shortly after, Norton fell prey to terrible paranoid hallucinations. He describes with great fervor a number of horrors he claimed were constantly in his wake. Seeking rational explanations, he brought the stone to the geologist Samana Updike. Wholly by accident, Mr. Van Uther brought the stone into contact with a radio in Mr. Updike's foyer. This brief contact gave him sight of what he describes as a flying eyeless mouth just beyond the window. Fearing the obvious reactions such a tale would garner, Mr. Van Uther quietly contacted a friend at the renowned Miskatonic University of Akram, this is supposed to be Arkham, Massachusetts. Miskatonic University, premier study of superstition in the Northeast. A pause. Sorry, continue. That was for us, I guess. Webley clears his throat. This friend, Professor August Stoddard, provided Van Uther with 5 tomes from the Miskatonic libraries. The Anganat Tables, the Testament of Evra, the Star Librum, Leaves of Al-Jawafi, and the Ditana accounts. I recognize the Librum. That's an occult text. What on earth could have been the purpose of frightening this poor man with demonology and riddles? No spelling error. Van Uther found only confusion from these books. He alludes, however, to having secreted away the tool of destruction beneath a bookshelf, and that these 5 volumes are instrumental in recovering said tool. Stoddard's books are the key. I shall have a look about the office for him. Okay, so now do we need to... Are there like... I gotta go to all the different bookshelves, I guess. Seems I found one of Professor Stoddard's book, the Ditana accounts. Wonder, do we have to check all the... Yep. I've located one of the texts in Van Uther's journal, Leaves of Al-Jawabi. So it's pretty standard puzzle. Norton Van Uther mentioned the Testament of Evra in his journal. Webley mentioned this book, The Star Librum, was in the journal. Is that all of them? Did we get all the books? I think so. Any luck locating Stoddard's tomes? Yeah. Which book should I put into the top slot? Oh, jeez, it's a freaking... Oh, okay, it's just like a trial and error. So not that one. No. No. Okay, so I guess it's that one. Is this, if I read this again, does it tell me... Is there like an order? So I don't know if there's like a clue to this or if it's just trial and error. Right, I guess that was trial and error. I don't know. That wasn't particularly fun. That was sort of like a waste of time. Look here, the drawers popped open. And? What are the instruments of doom Van Uther was secreting away? Monroe reaches into the drawer and produces a multifaceted ellipsoid gem with blackish edges and a dark, slightly purple core. Strange. It certainly is. Is it opal? Obsidian? Does it feel smooth? Monroe wordlessly passes the gemstone to Webley's eager hands. There is another object in the drawer, a small square board of wood with two knobs mounted upon it. Small lengths of wire connect the knobs to a kind of coil, wrapped in what appears to be copper. It's a crystal tuner radio. There's a setting within this coil. I'd wager these items match the description in Mr. Van Uther's journal. Did you really mean to do something with that stone? Webley does not reply at first, fixed entirely upon the black fragment. Finally, he looks up. This sort of creative activity would follow the wild imaginations of his journal. Imaginings. Well, shall we test it? A rogue's grin crosses Monroe's face. For science, yes, not here. Pack these objects up for further study. I think they, along with the journal, will make for fascinating reading, but... He sighs, placing his hand across his jaw. We should see the body. Webley nods. Those wounds, yes, we ought to have a look, then to the office. I'm quite eager to see what properties this obsidian stone contains. And, Webley runs his fingers across the shelves, I'm taking this one book too, the Star Librum. Receive the Star Librum. Hey, they don't make us walk out, we just go to the morgue immediately. I like that. Don't waste the player's time. Hey, Monroe, the doctor keeps his mitts in his pockets, looking long over Monroe's shoulder. You supposed to be down here? We can slip him $5 or say, maybe we'll just wander our way out. Like, why is this an option? Let's just try this one. Okay, bizarre. Just a few minutes, okay, Doc? Monroe flashes a smile and shakes hands with the autopsy doctor. All right, Monroe, make it quick. We walk through you. Okay. So, I wonder why they chose to do that, like make the option for us to, like, go back or something. Like, I mean, theoretically you could spend, I think, all your money in the shop and then not be able to progress here, so... That's not too great. There's no tag on him, Monroe remarks. Looks like the poor fellow was shot. I don't think it's Van Uther. Oh, okay. Oh, we have to go in the body things. Cord Andros, not our guy. Oh, come on. Probably empty. Stepping up to Norton Van Uther, this is it. Webley crosses his arms. Look at the coat. Gardner wasn't joking. Monroe has produced a set of tweezers, pulling the man's vest apart. His gashes are enormous. They don't quite go through. After a moment, this was closed rather quickly. Maybe he didn't want to know, Webley poses rhetorically. Shall we head back? Yes, Monroe replies, setting the clothing back. I want to see what that machine and stone device is that Norton cooked up. We will take over where Gardner quit. It was kind of almost pointless for us to go to the morgue there. They didn't even really learn anything. Monroe and Webley had relocated their investigation to the meeting room of the agency, and their doings had brought about the curiosity of Mr. Arthur Pendleton. Everybody's doing the ellipses. No. That's what's written in the man's journal, indirectly.
Mr. Pendleton, if we do not find the purpose of this contraption, we will not for certain know why Mr. Van Uther was murdered.
You want to turn that silly thing on, in my office no less, and shove this thing is giving me a headache. Arthur passes the dark stone back to Webley, and I have not heard an argument that you intend to do this for any genuine reasons beside common curiosity. I will not have you wasting valuable time while there are real cases to investigate. Lord Van Uther wrote, rather furiously, that this stone, Webley placed a rock upon the table now, was the source of winding, treacherous dreamscapes whereupon I gazed the impossible infinite expanse of stars. Poetry to justify childish science, this is a new level for you, Mr. Webley. Barring the mad prose, the logic is sound. This device killed Norton Van Uther, and by that I mean someone killed him for it. We ought to understand what it does. A deep set of wounds is no evidence of that. Connecting them is pure speculation and borders on fraud. Oh, Arthur Pendleton loosens the button from his jacket and produced a fine white cloth. He did not catch the conspiratorial glance between Webley and Moreau. I suppose if there were to be any truth to your story, Mr. Monroe, Arthur cleared his brow with the cloth, it would require a thorough investigation. Go ahead, Mr. Webley. Have your fun. The weariness in his voice was not without joviality. Webley does not waste time. He takes the flat, light-colored wooden board from Moreau and fits the stone into the coil loop's core. The device is crudely constructed. The stone sits precariously between two wire fittings. With a shining look about the room, Webley turns the first dial. Mr. Webley? Webley does not reply. Instead, he takes the second dial and turns it repeatedly, clicking it over and again. There is another pause in the room, and finally, nothing happens. Very well. It does nothing. Oh my god. Ava! Monroe, the foyer. What the fuck? Look at this. Okay, so we're getting right into the action, basically. I like that. I mean, we've been live for okay, it's like 20 minutes or something in. The creature standing over Miss Nun's body is difficult to even comprehend. 6 appendages spring from an otherworldly thorax, much like a garden insect. They bend in hard, angular ways and stick to the ground with suckling noises. Brown, leathery wings, these do not appear to work, protrude from the creature's back and hang down, dragging along the tile floor. It is the head which truly disturbed the men of the Pendleton Agency. A pulpy textured bulb juts out from the front and center of the thorax, and set along it in regular symmetrical groupings are eyes, the color of dark obsidian. There are no lenses. There is no knowing where those oblivion eyes are directed. So this is kind of cool. They did a pretty good job, like showcasing this abomination. This sprite has some pretty, yeah, the animation's a little choppy, but that's okay. It doesn't really take away from the effect too much, I guess. What is? Arthur Pendleton is a grounded and practical businessman. The thing before him is foreign and alien and unlike anything before witnessed. It fazed him momentarily, then he barks, "Shoot it, Monroe! Shoot the damned thing!" Monroe fumbled briefly for his pistol, unable to peel his eyes away from the creature. A thunderous rapport filled the office. Battle time. Unknown creature emerged. So, looks like we got pretty standard ATB gauge. What do we have for weapon? Nothing. So, and who... We don't have a way to know who we are right now. Once we've hit it. So I guess I think we're Monroe or whatever. Yeah, so we shoot it. Miss Pendleton. Pendleton did way more damage with his melee attack than we did with our gun. Webley misses. Exorcism of Thought. So now we're confused, so looks like it has status effects. I mean, pretty standard shit right now. And we killed it. We found water. Weird. Monroe has gained a level. Stats. So our health almost doubled. Or did double. Sanity went up. Attack went up by 4. Defense went up by 10. So these are some interesting stats. I think RPGMaker games tend to sort of like... The stats increase like really quickly.
So I guess we'll see. Ava! Pendleton has gained a level. His health doubles too. And so does his. It's weird that... yeah, spliffle. Yeah. It's weird that the stats increase so much. Alright. I mean, it's not that weird, but it's weird that the dialogue didn't pause for us to check out the level upgrades. Can I talk to these guys? I can just walk through them. Okay, so I have to go around.
Monroe kneels down at the body. Arthur.
In the pounding madness of the events that had unfolded within the Pendleton Agency, there had been little attention to pay to the commotion outside its doors. Gunfire, screaming, and sounds, which could not be identified, had drawn a small crowd of concerned and the authorities. Oh, here comes the cops.
All right, nobody move. We heard gunfire, and what's happened here? What happened to this woman?
An eternal silence follows, a quiet in which one could hear the stomach of the Pendleton men dropping collectively. What happened here was the question. Webley, pale now, looked to the dead body of the secretary, to the pallid faces of his co-workers. Monroe was breathing rather heavily. Pendleton clenched his jaw. There was no response.
You there with the gun, put it down, I'm taking you in.
Swiftly, without pause, Pendleton suddenly knelt down and gathered up Miss Nunn's body.
Help us, can't you see this woman needs immediate medical attention? If you're not here to help, then get out of the way.
Yeah, these graphics are pretty interesting. They're different, at least. They fit the mood.
Webley, help Arthur. I'll be out in a moment.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
She had the same wounds as Norton.
Monroe gave Webley a severe look.
We cannot leave without that crystal, and I do not know when we will see these offices again.
The pained expression across Webley's face cuts Monroe deeply, but there is no response. Webley leaves. Okay, we gotta go get the crystal. I had my alert thing. Oh, there's the crystal below the thing, so I didn't see who followed. I assume that was you, Spliffle.
The source of our troubles now, too. I fear we've set a terrible machine in motion. I fear we are destined to end up as poor Norton Van Uther.
Monroe gazes at the stone.
There must be something we can do.
Do you see the dark stone? Yeah, it's certainly not great. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Super Nintendo stuff, or it almost looks sort of like Ultima Online in some ways, although it's not isometric. But yeah, it does fit the noir style. The cars, I like how they did the cars.
I'm not certain why, but I don't believe I shall ever see this office again. This thought sent chills up my spine.
This is weird. Leave the Pendleton Agency. No, because we didn't go to our boss's office yet. It wouldn't let us before, so let's check it out. See, is there like a secret here? Did we find a secret? No. Oh, there's a bottle in here. Now's hardly the time. Received a whiskey. Hey, that guy's not even freaking in the building. I'm gonna steal his whiskey anyways. Yeah, like, definitely easy to make in the sense that, like, I mean, their running animation is just, he just moves faster. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not certain why, but I don't believe I...
Yeah, I know. We already read that. Yeah, let's leave. Ooh, the crowd. Gathered outside is of the local employees and patrons of various shops in the area. Monroe does not make eye contact, briskly moving through the crowd to where he sees Pendleton, apparently having loaded Miss Nunn into a waiting ambulance. We'll be right behind. The officer starts to say something, but before that, Pendleton is already walking to his car. I like the way they did the cars. I guess I should talk to these people. Let's just see if we can. No, we cannot. You know, I kind of... Oh, some poor woman was carried out of there. We can talk to one bystander. I kind of like it when you can't talk to NPCs. I heard a scream because you don't like end up wasting your time so much, I guess. But when you can only talk to a couple, then it's like you have to check all of them because you don't want to miss something, you know.
I'd better see you downtown within the hour. We're going to have some questions for you downtown.
Oh man, not downtown. Can't go this way. So they block stuff off with cars. Like most RPGMaker games, it's like a tile system. So you see, we're moving a tile, and then that's why like we can't go through here at all. There's no directional movement.
Let's go, Monroe. We're leaving. It's for the best.
Arthur, I know you'll disagree, but I think we should head for it.
We'll discuss it on the way. The sooner we put distance from those officers, the better.
Oh, I don't have an option for that. I can't go to the store, I guess.
And that is how we came to here, Professor Stoddard.
Stoddard's face, younger than Monroe expected, is flat and even. For a moment he says nothing, seeming to look through the men. Finally,
"Did you bring back the text with you?"
"God damn you," Webley bursts, his face reddening beneath the deep pockets under his eyes. "What is this? What's happening here?" Webley produces the Star Librum and hurls it to Stoddard's feet. This action provokes no response from the professor.
"It does seem odd that a creature the size you saw could effect an escape of Norton's study."
Even Pendleton appears exasperated. His lips curl under his teeth as he manages his emotion.
"The beast faded from view when we felled it in my office. Norton may have slain whatever horror he summoned.
I think it more likely Norton was the unwitting recipient of someone's valuable property, the stone. I must see it."
Monroe's eyes are shining fire and understanding. What the hell does that mean?
"Murder. You're talking about murder for this."
Monroe holds the obsidian stone out to Stoddard's waiting hand.
In Norton's journal, he mentioned vaguely of receiving this from a client.
Stoddard is listening intently, though his gaze is now focused upon the stone.
"It is unlikely we will ever know the line of owners before Mr. Van Uther came to acquire this sample. It is more likely, however, that we are all in very great danger."
"What do you mean? What kind of danger?"
"Some stones of Yurgoth call out for home. Some instead call out for aid in being returned home. I fear you have crossed the entire state with such a stone."
We wouldn't cross the entire state, huh? We'd bury the lead. Professor casts a hard gaze to the hallway.
"And our aid has arrived."
The details of any of what you just said will have to wait. How do we get out of here?
"The front door, unfortunately. Whoever wants this stone returned will be waiting. I do not believe they will care much for your story, if you understand my meaning."
A shadow falls over the detective's features.
"Very well. Are you able to fight?"
"No, I will be just behind you."
"Monroe, it was one thing to kill that thing in the office. You're talking about people now. We're talking about killing people."
"I'm talking about a rather zealous type of cultist, the kind who would kill you without a thought in the name of its horrid god."
Stoddard attempts to reassure. Why is it red? What's the red filter for? I guess it affects the mood. Like I was like, oh, combat time, it's danger, but they're just talking. It's kind of like the tension is being killed by all this dialogue.
"Them or us, Mr. Webley. Them or us."
Heavy sigh issues from Webley's throat. "Us, then," he says, with no small amount of tragedy, collecting the librum from Stoddard's feet without making eye contact. Oh, it's on fire. Now we can hear the fire effects. Can I talk to this guy?
"It's no time to talk now."
Okay. What this shit? Someone's left behind some stuff. Smelly salts, an apple. I really gotta check all these things now. Did I just happen to check the one that actually had something in it? Yep, okay. Let's go upstairs.
"We'll only be trapped upstairs. Best to get out of here quickly."
Alright. Oh, there's the fire. This occult text looks interesting. The void beneath Eltdown. Okay. Oh no, the fire will hurt us. No. Better check these bookcases before. Quickly, before the flames burn anything of value.
"I recognize some of these. Required reading."
Monroe.
"What am I looking for, Webley? A treatise on falconry? Here's the Merchant of Venice. Oh, here."
Monroe reaches wordlessly near the fire to retrieve a strangely decorated book.
"Okay, what about this?"
Receive the Ashiga Exotica. So our path is blocked, so we have to go down here and fight a cultist, I guess. The man standing before Atwood Hall bears a determined look.
The stone, give it to me. You know not what you bear. Aye, young Sawdust. What on earth is he talking about? Webley? I haven't the faintest.
Now is not the time, gentlemen.
The man produces a scimitar and attacks. Cold blade emerged.
These guys are isometric, though. So now we have the tech option, and we have the invoke option, but they don't do anything. Yeah. Pendleton does the most damage with his punch. Oh no, Webley with his blade, with his pipe or whatever. Oh, Monroe just freaking died. And then we killed it. Yay. Alright, started where now?
The faculty building directly north of this one. I'm afraid Professor Atwood will be most unhappy when he sees the blaze. And not a fan of fire, is he?
A nervous laugh tinges Webley's voice. Without humor,
This hall bore Atwood's namesake.
Pendleton gained. See this? Like, why is the text going after the level announcement? It's annoying. There's more of them out there. More of those cold people. I can hear them. Pendleton's knuckles crack audibly to the left. So Pendleton gained a level. Webley gained a level, and because Monroe died, he didn't. So now he's gimped. He also only has 1 HP. Why is their HP so freaking low? Oh, because we haven't had a chance to heal since we leveled up. So, that is kind of obnoxious. I guess we'll use the apple on Monroe. And Webley. Hopefully we don't like get to heal in like 2 seconds or something, so... Okay. Equipment. Or who has... Is magic a thing? Spell power 39. Okay. Spell power 35. 48. What is that, blackjack? What the hell? It says just his... equipment. Oh, we didn't equip his revolver. There we go. That's why. He just holds it. His model holds it. Okay, so now there's something about reading books. To learn spells. Force of Ether. Contains the spell Mend Flesh. Okay, let's teach Webley Mend Flesh. Sanity to learn, Sanity to invoke is 12. Returns moderate HP. Okay, so now Webley should have... Yep. Oh, here it is, first aid. Shit. I should have looked. I wonder what tech uses. It says 12. Let's use Mend Flesh on Pendleton. And then let's teach Monroe Force of Ether. Slams a single foe with spectral forces, dealing moderate damage. Sure. Okay, so now we have to go north. Oops. Yo, Minatohu. I'm not sure if it's based on Rise of Cthulhu, but it is certainly Cthulhu based, like based on the mythos of Lovecraft. We just fought some Yog-Sothoth cultists, some giant bug thing. So there's something in that car, but we can't get to it yet. Oh, random encounter. Cold Blade, a Cold Sorcerer, and a Cold Elder. 75 damage. Jeez, I'm crow. Okay. Can we run? No.
Why can't I attack? Oh, I have to use the gun. Okay, I guess let's just try to kill the blade. Oof. Okay. Yeah, that's why I chose to start off with this one. I have a whole bunch of RPGMaker games I kind of want to play through and talk about. And yeah, this is, it does stand out. It's pretty cool. I've only seen like some computer RPGs dealing with this sort of setting. Like the Baldur's Gate style stuff. Okay, so we get tech points as we battle, apparently. Drowning Cascade. Webley is dead. Haymaker. We're not going to do that. We're just going to attack the sorcerer. That should kill him. Apparently not. We're going to probably die. Miss. That sucks. Looks like they do have like a secondary animation when they're almost dead. Jeez, Minato. Missed again. Okay, let's try the Haymaker. Miss. Dead. Oh no, he's not dead. I wonder if when they're in yellow, if they have like less chance to hit or something, or are we just being unlucky? This is the third combat in the game. This is our first random encounter, and it's just, we are just getting destroyed. There we go, finally hit with something. Miss. There we go. Okay, we're gonna need to try to stun him again, or else we're gonna die. Hey. We got water. And Pendleton's health goes up by 100. Alright, this game is pretty difficult, apparently. Okay. There's all our sanity, so all we can do is heal with his first aid now. Suppose we should save. Okay. Community boards of flyers and notices ruined by the rain. Thought it was a bench. So this is pretty dark. Ugh. Really? Okay, so what do we oh, it's two. Yeah, sorcerer and the blade look the same. Haymaker, the sorcerer. Didn't stun it. Okay, shoot the sorcerer. And first aid Pendleton. Oof. Okay. We can't heal because we don't have enough TP or sanity. So we just have to keep attacking. The combat animation spliffle. It's pretty decent. Oh, it missed. Maybe Monroe can actually reach level 3. Let's just attack this guy, kill him. Just don't attack Monroe, please. Thank you. Yeah, there aren't a lot of frames, but it does look pretty decent still. We do have enough for first aid. Unconscious. Yay, Monroe leveled up. And so did Webley. We really need to find a place to heal, though. Because our max HP has increased significantly, but we haven't had a chance to heal yet. Like an inn. What the okay, this is some weird level design here, though. This is frustrating. Especially because these... Hey, at least there's only 2 guys this time. Oh, yeah, just open up by killing our healer. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure what the sanity effects are. Oh my god. Yay! Fair battle. There's like nothing I can do, man. This is 200 damage, like that's more than... Alright, so the balancing is a little off for sure. Yeah, it is those dark arts. Okay. Yay, just 2 blades. Eldritch, yeah, it's some warlock. Dungeons and Dragons warlock style. Come on, get the stun in. Why no stun? At least their attacks do miss sometimes. I mean, I kind of like the fact that this is sort of challenging, like, it's a good chance that we're gonna die. Because it's not just like fighting freaking rats, you know. Oh, level 1 goblins. There is a little bit of tension here. Not being able to run away, especially, is kind of interesting. Yeah, right? In Cthulhu games, yeah. Seriously. Tech deduce. The music is better here than it was earlier in the game too. Yeah, terror and helplessness. Yeah. How am I supposed to defeat these random encounter mobs? I can't even do it. Yeah, definitely. It's pretty cool actually. The damage on those spells though, that's just like kind of silly. Okay, can we get it? There we go. This maniac was keeping a damned sword in here. Received fencing foil. Ooh. Okay, that puts his attack down. That puts his attack down. What? Might have crits. Yeah. Pocket knife, good for fending off attacks. I wonder if that's why attacks are missing on him a lot. And then what does it say? What does Webley say? Small knockout suck. I guess we'll try the fencing foil. Yeah, that'd be interesting if they do have hidden effects. Might as well equip it and find out.